Welcome back to our study called My Foot Slips, and we're looking at Genesis chapter 16. Today we're going through 7 through 14. 7 through 14 is where we're at. And the question is, does God care? The answer is, of course he does. But sometimes we need to ask that question. We need that question answered. We need the reminder of that. So let's take a look at our story from Genesis here. After Hagar runs from Sarai, she heads back towards Egypt. However, when the angel of the Lord appears to her, she's stopped, right? She's on her way back to Egypt, and boom, the angel of the Lord appears. This is the first mention of the angel of the Lord in the book of Genesis, in the Bible. And it's clear that this is not just an angel. It's not just a messenger from the Lord. But this is God himself. This is what we call a theophany, or probably more than likely a Christophany, which means an appearance of God or appearance of Jesus Christ before he comes in the flesh as a baby. So this Christ appearing in the Old Testament. He shows up not in a body like he does in the incarnation, but he does show up and meets with people. So he meets Hagar on the way to Shur and asks her where she was going and why she was going. And so this harkens back to how God interacted with Adam and Eve after the fall. And it goes back to how God interacted with Cain when he was contemplating evil. He's like, what are you guys doing out here? What are you doing? What's going on? Obviously God knew, but it was God's fatherly way of approaching these people and saying, hey, what's happening? Why you have this sin in your heart? Why you don't do this? Pleading with them. Don't do it. But so Hagar she admits that she's on the run. That's what she says to God, to the angel of the Lord. I'm out of here. I'm running away. But God has a different plan for her. So he tells her to go back, submit herself to her mistress. Go back as a servant. Put yourself back underneath Sarai. Don't hold the child over her. Don't lord it over her. Don't be arrogant, but submit yourself to her. Now, that's not easy to do for most people. But that was what God requested of her. Then the Lord pronounces a blessing over her. So if she goes back, submits, there's a blessing, he says. It's interesting that God does the same for Hagar as he has done for Abram here. That's amazing. You follow these commands, and here is your blessing. That's what God says. Here's the commands. I want you to leave your family, your home, and all that. Go to the land I will show you, and then you will be blessed. God does the same thing for Hagar. Go and submit yourself to Sarai, and you'll be blessed. So God tells her that she will have a son, and his name shall be Ishmael, which means God hears. For he didn't turn a deaf ear to her, even though she was mistreated. So God promises that her son will have a multitude of offspring, just like the promise of Abram. But her son will not be the son of promise. He's not the one through whom the seed of the woman would come, the promised one from Genesis chapter 3. So, he's like, yeah, he'll be blessed, but he's not the one. He's not the promised one. Instead, he'll be a wild donkey of a man, it says, which means his hand will be against everyone, and there will be strife between him and Abram's other son, Isaac, which we find out later on. So God is telling her right away, there's going to be problems between Isaac and Ishmael. There's always going to be a problem between these two people groups. And of course, that's still happening today. But there is that blessing to Hagar for Ishmael, and that he would become nations. And so, after being blessed, Hagar calls God the God of seeing, which is very appropriate. We know that God sees all, but when the Bible uses this phrase, that God sees, it means that he is acting in a caring way towards someone. So it's not just like, oh, God sees. Well, of course he sees. He sees everything. And since his knowledge is infinite, he knows all things and knows everything that can be known, then of course he, quote unquote, sees what's going on, because he's always known what was going on. But when this phrase is used in the Bible, it's always in reference to the fact that God sees, he's going to do something. He's caring for this. He's approaching this person in a caring way, taking care of this person. And so when God sees me, if I'm struggling, I'm having problems, I want God to see me. I want God to take care of me. I want God to help me. I want God to see me through this trial that I'm in. And so that's what it means there, and that's what God does for us. God does see us. Our troubles, our problems, our pain are not something that he overlooks. He sees it, he knows it, he's always known it, and he will care for his people. That's a promise. So that's looking at that question today. Does God care for us? Of course he does. He does, absolutely. He cared for Hagar, even though she wasn't going to have the child of the promise. He still cared for her, still cared for Ishmael, even though he wasn't the child of promise. And a lot of Ishmael's children will be and are around the throne of God in heaven. So God blesses, he loves, he cares, and it doesn't matter what you're going through, he'll care for you. So next time we'll look at, can we wait? That's another question, right? Does God care? And then they ask the question, can we wait? So we'll look at that next time.